Once upon a time, two retired teachers decided to convert their garage into a pottery studio. Along with their daughter and son, they built a business around the idea that the world could use a little more art and a lot more artists. We're the Kaya family. Welcome to Wocky Pots. Hi everybody, how you doing? How you been? How are things? Shane and Diane here at Wocky Pots for coffee time number 59. Good to see everyone. Diana, what are we going to be talking about today?
Alrighty, well, it snowed again.
It did. Last coffee time we were telling you about all the snow we had. Well, it snowed again.
Again. I don't know. I don't remember a winter like this in so long. But of course, since it snowed, we had to reschedule the afternoon homeschool clay class to this coming week.
The morning finished up just as the flakes were starting to fall, so the afternoon class they got postponed until day after tomorrow.
Yeah. Best to be safe. Always safe. Mm-hmm. So. But on a good note, the morning group, their things are finished in the kiln, so that means the afternoon group will be able to have the entire kiln, and that's the larger class. Mm-hmm. So they probably will fill the entire kiln.
I can't wait to see their stuff. It's going to be great.
But there was a lot going on last week, and it wasn't all to do with pottery.
It was a busy week.
It really was. I did get some business type stuff done. I took Monday and got all the receipts together and all the different forms to
tax time, you guys.
Oh, yes. So, but anyway, it took hours just to do that, and they're not done. So
we have a couple months before they're due, but we like to get everything done ahead of time.
Yes, because otherwise it weighs on me, So, but anyway, so we did do that. But we also had Carolyn's dentist appointment where she had to get her wisdom teeth removed.
Right, so that was a busy day.
It was, and you took Christopher to piano lessons so that I could take her over to the dentist. And so lots of things happening like that. And then we decided that, it was Valentine's Day and we were deserving of a date. So we went on a date and took our son.
We took him with us because, hey, why not? Right?
We went to see Captain America. I don't know what the rest of the title was. But
Brave New World. Captain America, Brave New World.
And that was very good. And then we had dinner. And I bought you that nice spiffy hat.
Yeah, check out my hat, you guys. This is my Valentine's Day present from Diana because she's my sweetheart.
Yes. That's right.
And I got Diana a big old box of chocolate and a bouquet of pretty flowers.
I should have had the flowers on the table.
Oh well.
But that's okay. But believe it or not, with all of those things going on, we actually did make some things.
It was quite a productive week in the studio, in fact. Right.
Yeah, more so for you than for me. But that's okay, because I was super excited with what I did get.
Right, we did get some pretty cool stuff done. Do you want to talk about a little bit about what we did last week?
Sure.
The first thing I want to mention is this cup all the way here to the right. This cup is one that I put a handle on after the cup had been completely bone dry. And normally I hate when that happens. I say my old curse words and I just, chuck it or whatever. But this time I wrapped the cup completely in a wet paper towel and put it on top of an absorbent bat, sealed it up in plastic, gave it a couple squirts of water first, and then we let it sit for a week or so. And it turned out that the clay regained enough moisture that we could attach a handle. And I think it's going to end up being a very nice cup.
Right. And I attached most of the handles this week.
Right. You did not attach the ones on and there are a couple of these. There's like 3 of these that were completely bone dry, and we weren't sure if they were going to make them, but they did.
I was really shocked by that because when I went to take them out of the plastic, I was thinking to myself, ooh, this one's probably not going to be ready. But it felt more like a Hershey chocolate bar, and I was like, ooh, that's the right.
It did turn out to be about the right moisture. So I was very happy that a couple of those turned out. But for the majority of the cups that I made on the wheel, Diana put the handles on like we did the previous week, and that seemed to work rather well.
It really did, because one of the things we noticed is, you throw on the wheel generally one day, and then the next day you have to trim and put the handles on. With me helping out, we decreased the time for those particular mugs. And I actually like putting handles on. I don't.
Well, I mean, it's not a bad procedure.
Yes, no, it's scratch, 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 slip, slip, slip.
So there was that, and then I mentioned last week that I was making some wine cups specifically and on purpose without a handle, and this is an example of one of those, just to give you an idea for the size and relative kind of shape to it. Not too dissimilar from most of my mugs, except I try not to go out with the rim when I'm making a wine cup. But that turned out quite well. It's going to be very nice.
Yeah.
And then I did make these cylinder cups. This is actually more of a cup, and this one is probably actually more of a bowl. But I made these up, and I used the speedball base setter tool that I've explained before to open these, and then when it came time to trim them after they've dried a little bit and it came time to trim them, I did use my Giffen Grip tool for the trimming. And I guess is now a good time to talk about that?
Sure, go right ahead, because I bought that for you too.
Right, this is a gift from Diana. The Giffen Grip turns out to be a very, very useful tool, and I've got it kind of sitting here. But to give you a better idea of how to use it, I shot a video. Actually, Diana shot a video of me using this when I was trimming these shapes, and we'll cut to that right now. And as you can see, it makes the process a lot faster, a lot more, a lot smoother. There are a couple of other tools that I used during the course of that trimming that I wanted to let you know about. And the first is probably this Diamond Core T1 trimming tool. I'll show a closer picture of it, but this was kind of an expensive tool to get, but it's totally worth it. I absolutely love this Diamond Core trimming tool. It works out really great.
And it does come with extra
ends. It
Yeah,
comes with the
that's what that's
extras.
called.
Nice. And another one of my favorite tools is this tiny little spoon. Now, this came with our house, right? This was used by Diana's grandmother and uncle when they lived in our house, and I don't really know what they would use it for. There's a couple of them, but I love it. It's a perfect size for burnishing the pottery as it's spinning on the wheel. So I love this little tiny spoon. And although I didn't do it in the video, sometimes I will turn it over and use the plastic handle part for burnishing smaller areas too. So that's also one of my favorite tools.
I do know my Uncle Bobby would have gotten a kick out of you using it. For that.
He would have enjoyed that for sure.
He would have enjoyed that. He'd been sitting there just grinning.
Yep. It is a good tool. And as far as making things on the wheel, we like to burnish the bottom bands of our Sheltoey brown vessels, and the reason for that is because we like to show off the clay, and it's not as nice looking if it's not burnished. So we burnish the bottoms, and if I have to, I'll take some very fine sandpaper and sand the bottom so it feels better. But after burnishing, there's really going to be no need for sanding the bottoms. They're going to be just fine the way they are. So I wanted to show you that Giffen Grip, definitely a worthwhile investment. If you get a chance to check one out in person, do that. Makes trimming very fast and very easy. Yep.
And definitely a game changer for us.
Definitely, yep.
Yes.
So that's pretty much all I have on my side to talk about. Lots of stuff on your side to talk about.
I don't know if it's a lot or not, but it's some cute things. Yes, I'm so excited. Alrighty, well, I have some soap dishes. Now, I will have a saucer that goes under them to catch any of the water that falls through, but just the old-fashioned soap dish. And I did put feet on it. I'm very proud of my feet.
Very nice.
Fact.
Very nice.
Don't know if you all can tell, but you know these 3 areas here that I cut out? That's what I turned into the feet.
Very cool.
So
I will definitely make sure we have pictures of these.
But this was one that I cut in half, and then so it was
spiffy.
Yes,
we love
I'm
it.
excited. I like that.
Very nice.
I also did a couple of the little small. Could be a shot glass. Could be a toothpick holder. Could be an egg cup. I really have grand hopes for an egg cup out of this one.
This is your Iceman clay, Kentucky Mudworks Iceman clay, Cone 6 white clay.
Yes, and the texture on this is my beehive, and of course the other thing on the table is my beehive butter dish.
Yay!
Because I have been wanting to do that, and so I sculpted a little roundish beehive on the top. I did hollow it out, and like you told me to do, I actually have a hole going through the center so that air can reach from.
Right, it's not.
Yes. And it won't stay on this time, guys. No chance of cracking this time. I'm going to have airflow getting underneath. But look at the cute bee.
That's fantastic. The thing about having a trapped compartment of air inside the beehive, it isn't that the air itself makes it more explodey than normal. It's that moisture can hang around inside that little pocket of air, and it would take longer to dry to make sure it was completely dry, so there was no moisture inside there, because it's not the air that makes things explode. It's the water droplets in the air that makes things explode. When the liquid water droplets inside change to water vapor, they expand, and that expansion is what causes explosion. So in order to mitigate that, you can't see it because it's sealed down. There's a hole in the bottom of the beehive that goes through the cover of the butter dish so that air can move through, and it just means it won't have to dry as ridiculously long as it would otherwise.
Yes, and just so you know, I already know how this is being glazed.
I'll bet it's going to be purple, right? It's going to be bright blue, isn't it?
But remember last summer I did bee mugs?
I remember those bee mugs.
And I'm going to match this to those bee mugs. I have a picture of those bee mugs, and I remember how I glazed it.
It'll be fantastic. I cannot wait to see that.
I got to make some more bee mugs now.
Now, That's
Yes.
those are things you made, but you also pulled some things out of the kiln that
I
were
did.
glazed. If you didn't get a
Yay.
chance to check out our most recent kiln opening, you probably haven't because we literally just filmed it 15 minutes ago. If you haven't had a chance to check out our latest kiln opening, these things and other things are in that kiln opening. But these are some of Diana's favorites from
Yes.
this load.
Well, and yours too, because you're like, you've got to put the forest of
Right.
mushrooms.
I love the mushrooms. I love them.
And every single one has a totally different color on it. And I love that. And, what makes them kind of go together is the fact that the stems are the same. But I think they're so happy.
If you want to know which glazes Diana used for that,
Yes.
do check out that kiln unload because Diana mentions the glazes by type.
Yes, and I did actually surprisingly know all of those glazes. How I managed that one, I don't know, because a lot of them were new. But my very favorite thing that I pulled out of the kiln is this daffodil candlestick holder.
Very pretty.
Yes. And the reason that one is my favorite, yes, it looks really good, but it's not that because it looks good that it's my favorite. It's because it brings back happy memories. Because let's see, Carolyn's going to be 22
Coming up
this year.
in March, she'll be 22 years old, right?
Yes, and it was a cold March when she was born, and it was very windy when we came home from the hospital that day. But I remember we had a large patch of daffodils right beside the driveway, and as we came in the driveway and we were getting her out of there, the wind was blowing and the daffodils were just swaying and waving, and it was almost like they were saying welcome home.
That was very sweet. Yep.
And so winter, sometimes is so gray and blah, and then the daffodils come and they bring some hope and some cheer, and they just make me think of my daughter because of that day.
Yep.
So,
well, now was this one
favorite.
Was this one of the first things that you made out of this new batch of Iceman?
It
is.
sure is. It is. And it's spectacular, and it hand built very well, and it took the glaze extremely well. I know that there had been a discussion that the Iceman did not handle Celadon glazes well, but I had also read that it had been reformulated to be more tolerant of them. And this is Celadon glazes on it, and there is no sign of crazing.
Well,
whatsoever.
it looks fantastic.
So
I can't wait to see it on the
I'm
table.
very happy. Yes.
Very, very nice.
So yes, so that's what came out of the kiln. That was my favorite. So I'm very happy.
So a very, very productive week. Believe it or not, as busy as it was, crazy busy. We made all kinds of stuff, and we got a glaze load, we got a bisque load and a glaze load done since our last coffee time.
Yes, and I don't know if you're able to hear the wind or not.
The wind is howling out there.
Yes.
So I just read that there were gusts of wind 60 miles an hour on the Bay Bridge, and they had to close the Bay Bridge. It's probably still closed.
Right.
Because of the severe wind. That's pretty windy.
Yes, we've had some strange weather, that's for sure. So let's go ahead and talk about our challenge and our highlight from the week.
Cool. Yep.
Yes. We'll start with the challenge. It was the snow.
And not only was it the snow, it will be the snow, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
So if you've checked the weather lately for our area, and you probably haven't unless you live here, but if you're within a 50-mile radius of our studio, I guarantee you know what the weather is going to be like. They have called for about a foot of snow on Wednesday and Thursday. That's this much snow, you guys. Now, whether we get that much is anybody's guess, but the fact is that they're also talking about very high winds. And when you talk about wind in combination with snow, then you're talking about a possibility of blizzard conditions. Now, I haven't seen anywhere where they're calling for us here on the Delmarva Peninsula to have a blizzard, but there is one weather reporter who has said that Richmond, Virginia may get a blizzard, and it could be quite a snow.
Yes, well, we'll have to do like they did in Laura Ingalls Wilder.
Tie a rope.
Tie a rope.
Yep.
Yes, from the door of the house to the door of the studio.
We only need about a 20-foot long rope. I think we could do that. I think we could do that.
Yes, but it was definitely a challenge, and it is continuing to be a challenge. We did, however, go stock up on groceries, and so we'll be all good in that terms. But our highlight, we started talking a while ago, and the highlight ended up being very much the same for each of us, and then we kept mentioning other things, and that was all of the different wildlife that has been so close.
The birds, you guys, in the last week, it's crazy how many different birds we saw. So last week we heard this hammering outside, bang, 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 and we thought there was somebody with a hammer. In fact, Diana got up to look out because she thought maybe Christopher was building something, and had a hammer out and was hammering nails, because that's what it sounded like, exactly like a hammer hammering nails. Well, it turns out that it wasn't a human making that noise; it was a pileated woodpecker, and he was huge. So that was absolutely fantastic. Right at the end of our studio, he was out there banging away, and
I've
that was
never
great.
heard one sound that loud with the
Right.
It was amazing.
So that was an amazing thing.
Yes.
And then we looked out on top of the light and out our back door, and perched on top of our light was this beautiful red-shouldered hawk. And that hawk stayed there for a long time. Not only did he stay there, he had, for whatever reason, a leaf from our magnolia tree. And I don't know whether he was trying to make a nest with that one leaf, but he sure was intent on manipulating that leaf somehow. So he was up on top of our light pole with the magnolia leaf. And then a couple days after that, a couple days ago, we came home. No, not a couple days ago. When was it?
Was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
It was yesterday.
We came home yesterday to find that red-shouldered hawk perched on our mailbox at the end of our driveway, and that was pretty great too. We slowed down to take a picture, but by the time we were able to get a picture, the hawk had flown off.
Yes, so evidently we don't have owls delivering the post. We have hawks.
We don't have owls delivering post, but guess what our other highlight is? So we heard this owl sound outside of our house, and we didn't know what kind of owl it was, so we looked up the sounds, and turns out that we had a pair of great horned owls who were having a singing contest right outside our house.
And I know the sounds that great horned owls make, because where I docent at the zoo, but that was not a normal sound, and that's why it was really amazing, because it was their mating calls.
And it was almost Valentine's, and it was so, it fitted so well.
And it is their nesting time. This is the time where they'll have their mate, and they'll nest, and they'll lay a couple of eggs, usually.
Well, these, hearing the great horned owls was a real treat. Now, were there any other, the eagle. So we also saw a pair of bald eagles. I say a pair of bald eagles. It was probably a parent and a juvenile, because there was definitely two bald eagles, but only one of them had the white feathers. The other one had only brown feathers. But they were perched side by side on top of a grain silo very close to the road as we drove by. And that was another amazing thing. We often see eagles nearby. In fact, they perch on top of a silo that's some distance away across the field. But these guys were very close to the road. We got a really good look at them, and that was amazing too.
It was. So it has definitely been a week for
the birds.
Yes, for the birds. Yes.
So that's our highlight.
Yes.
So the challenge is more snow coming in. Oh my goodness! But the highlight was all the really great birds that we saw. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and spring must be coming surely at some point.
It has to at some point. I'll have to check the calendar, but it can't be too far away, right?
So, and of course, this coming week, with the snow coming in, who knows exactly what's going to happen. At least I know it's not coming until after that class on Tuesday.
Right.
Knock on wood.
We don't have to. Right. We don't have to worry too much about canceling classes because of snow, but we may have to cancel some of the activities we were planning on in the studio ourselves.
Yes.
I know I had said I'm going to make some larger things, bowls and stuff. I think what I really want to do is make some yarn bowls. I've made lots and lots of cups. Time to make some larger things. And rather than just bowls, which I've already made a few larger bowls, I really want to make some yarn bowls. I think that would be like we haven't had them in a while, so that'll be a good thing. Yep.
Yes, and I really have no idea what I'm making, but I'm just going to make.
Well,
I'm going to make every chance that I get.
I've enjoyed all of the making that we've done this week. It's been a great week for making things. It's been busy.
But I am looking for something else new, because one of the things that I want to do when we go to the market this year, which the market's in 12 weeks, if we haven't said recently, I just want to make sure that we have new things that people have not seen us have before. You know, so, you know, like the daffodil.
It'll be great.
Holders
I'm sure we'll have lots of stuff, and I'm sure we'll have no problem.
Always looking for something, you know, new ideas.
Well, what else do we have to talk about for today?
I think that is it, because who knows what the week will hold.
Who knows? It's a mystery, you guys.
I'm not even trying to plan, because I know what'll happen. Every day the planner will not get checked off. And so this week I'm just going to go with it.
We're just going to go with the flow.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not yet done it, please do hit that like and subscribe button. Hit the bell icon to be notified of new content, because we do have some kiln openings coming up fairly soon, in addition to the one that we filmed today. For now, toodaloo, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Take care. See you later. Have a fantastic day no matter where you're at. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.